We didn't play hard enough against TCU to beat a good team. We turned the ball over at a significantly high rate, our highest of the year. We gave up the highest number of rebounds that we've given up all year. Can't do that against a team that's third in the country in offensive rebounding. And you can't shoot 44% against from the free throw line and have a chance to beat a high major team. We're addressing all three of those things. We tried to find an opponent. It's too long of a story to explain in an opening statement. Not very many available teams that could fit that date. It didn't work. We worked yesterday a full day, working today a full day. We'll be off tomorrow, and then we'll travel to Corvallis Thursday afternoon. They were on a COVID pause, and they're back, and they play tonight. I have never been to Oregon, I have been to Oregon. I have never been to Oregon State. Those three things that I just mentioned as the reason we lost, those three things have to go away at a significant rate in order for us to be successful on Saturday.
So, some coaches will talk about free throw shooting. Some say, no, I don't want to jinx it with free throw shooting. How do you approach free throw shooting?
I've changed as my career has unfolded, but categorically I believe tough guys make free throws. And I think the occasional fan and all of these shooting coaches that text and send resumes, I think it's important. I think sometimes it's a little overrated. You need to have a routine. You need to practice your routine, but you also need to believe that when you shoot it, you're going to make it. And we did not do that on Saturday.
What changed between the first couple of games and when there on out? Because it seemed like free throw shooting was pretty good, and it doesn't matter the opponent for free throw shooting.
I agree. Prior to going to Vegas, we were shooting 70.7%, as you said. And I can't remember exactly what we shot against Wisconsin. It wasn't alarmingly bad, but the last two games, it was poor. Against New Orleans, it was good again in Reed Arena. And then our fourth neutral site game, it was poor again. So maybe we can shoot free throws while in College Station. Maybe that's a part of the answer. But regardless, as you said, it doesn't matter where you play or who you're playing against. You need to convert at a higher rate than we have away from Reed Arena.
Buzz, were you especially disappointed about not being able to play because maybe after that game Saturday you wanted to get right back at it?
Yeah, yes. I know we can all probably say we could write a book on the lessons we've learned over the last 20-ish months of our life. And one of the top things I've learned is I'm only going to give energy and emotion to the things that I can control. And I found out as we were getting on the bus, made multiple calls on the bus drive home after I talked to you guys Saturday evening. You know, it turns into just whatever the cliche is. It just turns into a spider web. Okay, what teams are available? Can they play Monday? Well, that means they have to travel starting tomorrow. This is Saturday night. Do we want to play a Division I team? Are we willing to go on the road? Well, if we're willing to go on the road, can we get a charter service to get us there? When are we going to play? Are we going to play on Tuesday? And then are we going to come back home on Tuesday night? And then are we going to leave again on Thursday? If we're going to play someone that's a guarantee, how much can we pay them? And who's available to play? Well, the only teams that are going to be available to play that are those that have been affected by COVID. Either they had COVID or one of their games were canceled because of COVID and they're a game down. Well, who are those teams? And have they already rescheduled the game? Or do they have an open date on Tuesday? So like there were 11 teams, I think, in the country that were available within those scenarios, and every one of them had a different reason, or it wouldn't work, or we couldn't get there, or it wasn't enough money for them to pay them to come here. It just, I would say I gave 2 hours to it, but now it's Saturday night and it's 10:30 and it's like, well, we're going to start on Sunday after church. Like we're running out of time. And the staff and the administration had already done a lot of preliminary work before I got involved. So, yeah, I would have liked to have played. With a team as young as us, 8 games in November was a lot, 5 games in December. That's the right amount, considering we had that gap prior to TCU where we could work on ourselves. To be able to go another, in essence, 7 days without a game, I don't think that's ideal, but we can't control it.
Did you see anything that gave you any encouragement from the?
Yeah, if you turn the ball over 26% of the time and you shoot 44% from the free throw line, and they, in essence, rebound half the balls they miss and you only lose by 4, you did a lot of good things. Because if you only looked at one of those categories, free throw shooting may not apply because maybe you only shot 10 free throws instead of 18. But if you look at the offensive rebounding rate by TCU, and if you look at our turnover rate, just one of those two, you would go, that's a double-digit loss. But if you add all of those 3, and it's literally 61-59 when Haas hits the shot, and Dre draws a charge on number 1, the immediate possession after, like Q hits the baseline drift on the sideline out of bounds, it was still a game. What's disappointing is that we weren't just a little better in any of those categories, or all of those categories preferably. But to only lose by 4, we did do some good things. It's just so hard mathematically because those things, think about this. If you have the ball 10 times and only 7 times you get a shot, well, those other 3, you didn't have a chance to get a shot. You didn't have a chance to shoot a free throw. You didn't have a chance to get an offensive rebound. And of the 18 turnovers, 15 were live ball, and those live ball turned into 16 points. So now the compound effect of our turnover rate is they're scoring a layup in transition, and we don't have a set defense. We shoot 45% from the field, 38% from the 3 in those 7 shots that we got out of 10. But what's hurting us on the other end is they're shooting at a 75, 80% clip, maybe 100 on our live ball turnovers. And that it's just, it's hurting you on both ends of the floor.
So what do you know about Oregon State?
I don't know anything. I'm not supposed to say that. Spent Saturday night and Sunday trying to diagnose our loss, and then spent all day yesterday on those 3 things, on the floor, in the film room. I have started prep for Oregon State today. I have great respect for their coach. We are friends. Their associate head coach I've known since I was a kid. That was Karl Malone's guy, Kerry Rupp. I think he's borderline basketball savant. I think what Coach has done in his career is very, very, very good. He's always had hard jobs, very successful at Montana. Obviously, they went to the Sweet 16 last year at Oregon State. Does some unique things on the defensive end of the floor. I think they've done a really good job in their tenure at Oregon State. But specific to their personnel, I know what they do, but just not enough to probably speak on it confidently yet.
I'm looking at their scores, and even though they've lost 8 times, about 4 or 5 of those games have been 1- and 2-point games.
Yeah, they've played, I think 4 of their possessions have been 4 of their games have been 2 possession or less. Yep. I think 3 of their games were in a tournament just like ours. They'll play again tonight. I can't remember the game that they were. I think they've already played 2 Pac-12 games.
Yes.
And I can't remember who their game was that they were supposed to play that was canceled. But, yeah, their style of play says that it's probably not going to be a high-possession game or a blowout.
I've looked at, like, at the first half, it's a little bit like what you guys have done in some games. They have fallen behind early.
Yep.
And had to claw their way back.
Yeah. Then the team that plays both halves will have a better chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we need to cut that out.
Yeah.
Saying that you're, like I just told our guys, that's why I was a couple of minutes late, saying you're a second-half team is a polite way of saying you're not a first-half team.
Right.
We want to get away from that label.
To go with what you answered with Chip's question earlier, when you're trying to fix issues at the free throw line, do you see that as more of a physical thing, or is it more of a mental thing? Is it get down and
Yeah, I think good shooters. The way I would answer that, Travis, is good shooters. It's a mental thing, and bad shooters. It's a physical thing. If you're supposed to make free throws and you don't, that's a mental thing. If you throughout the course of your life, if you've never been known as a shooter, then it's a physical thing.
So it's a little bit of both moving forward here.
Yeah, depending upon which kid you would ask me, I could tell you if it's mental or physical.
So do you talk about routines for each
Sure.
particular
Yeah,
player?
each kid has a routine.
different one?
All the things, put
Yeah.
if you're a right-handed shooter, put your big toe on the nail hole, balance, eyes, elbow, follow through. Coach Orr at Navarro, he would always say, reach into the cookie jar. Cookie jar's on top of your grandma's refrigerator, and you got to reach in there without pulling the cookie jar down. And where are your eyes? Are you looking at the front of the rim? Are you looking at the back of the rim? Don't look at the backboard. When I was in college, I worked at camp every week of the summer, every summer of my college career. And so I would take a Greyhound bus or a Southwest Airlines flight, and I didn't have a home. So I actually worked at camp here when Coach Baroni was the coach and Porter was his assistant. The camp would be Monday through Friday. And so I would get in touch with whoever was running the camp. At that time here it was Porter. Porter, can I show up on Sunday and help you get ready for camp on Monday? And then by the time Friday came, I would say, is there any way I can spend the night in the dorm on Friday night and help you close down camp and then leave on Saturday? And then I had arranged it so I would leave on Saturday to get to the next place on Sunday and do the same thing. So I would do 12 weeks. I would do 12 weeks a summer. I remember every camp, every coach. I remember all of it. And when I would do the free throw shooting camp, when you used to buy a Tootsie Roll Pop. So if there was a Tootsie Roll Pop taped to the inside of the front of the rim, you want to hit the Tootsie Roll Pop and you want to catch the sucker out of the net before you catch the ball. And that's where you should aim. So that's my opinion. You should look at the Tootsie Roll Pop and you want the ball to hit the Tootsie Roll Pop at the top of the sucker, so you catch the sucker before you catch the ball.
Who's the best free throw shooter you've ever coached or been around?
Devontae Gardner, statistically, would be the best. He's from the 757 area in Virginia. He was a really good player, top 10 all-time in scoring and rebounding in Marquette history. Been a lot of really good players that have played at Marquette. I think he finished at 89% for his career. He weighed 330 pounds when we signed him. Had a remarkable career, but he had hands and feet unlike any big you've seen for a non-athletic big. That was in 2000. He played on Sweet 16. Yeah, he played Sweet 16, Elite 8, and his last year was our last year there. So had a really good career, was difficult to guard, and had a really good gift for playing under the rim and getting fouled. He fouled out more players than any other player I've coached, and then had a great rhythm. The student section at Marquette, within his rhythm, they would mimic his rhythm as he was doing it. And I would say statistically, he was the best free throw shooter.
Coach, what can you learn from this road trip? It's a long road trip, Power 5 opponent. What do you want you guys to take away?
Well, it's the first time we've played on the road. So we're 2-2 neutral site, as you know. And this will be the first road game that we've had. I think Oregon State football plays their bowl game at the same time we play the basketball game. So I would say that the environment will be unique for it to be a road game. But I think it's an important rep relative to what's coming in January and February, all that you just asked. Just the travel, the routine. This road trip will be a little bit different because we're not in school and because we're going as far northwest, I guess, as you possibly can by plane. We will travel on Thursday, which means we will practice at their place on Friday. So that will be a little different than the typical road game routine. But this is the first time we've played at somebody else's gym. And with a team as inexperienced as we are, this is an experience that's important to us.
When you guys have as many practices with so few games in
Yeah.
a season like this, do you change up how you approach these practices? Because it's kind of like a second training camp.
Yeah, we did. Good question, Mike. We did. We played New Orleans on a Tuesday. We were off on a Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I guess that would have been of last week. Practice was completely different. How we started it, the vibe of it, all of it. We were off on Sunday. And then Monday and Tuesday, we changed up what we did on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it was still not the normal practice. And then in preparation, then we were off on Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday became 2 day and 1 day, and we were kind of back to normal. And now we're kind of going through the same scenario again in an unplanned way. We were off on Sunday, and then yesterday was a full work day, and we started a little different. And I think how we started yesterday is probably how we need to start going forward, because similar to what Chip said, we've been pretty good in the second half, and we haven't always been bad in the first half. But we need to get better at being good in both halves, particularly at the start. And so we changed up yesterday how we practiced, and I thought it ended up being one of our top 5 practices just because we got going a little faster and it was better.
Anything else, Coach? Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you guys. Yes, sir.